Good morning, good morning, good morning, and grace and peace to you from God our Father and Savior the Lord Jesus Christ, who blesses us and keeps us in every good and every perfect way. And the psalmist has so rightly and so eloquently declared that this is the day that the Lord has made, and for that we certainly give God thanks, and I certainly rejoice in it. Good morning and welcome. I am Pastor Blackwell, lead pastor here at the Asbury Community Church in Woodland, New Jersey, and we want to officially welcome you to the second installment of Building Black Wealth. And our primary goal and objective is to give you some instructions to help you create wealth, to take ownership of your future, and to leave a legacy for the generations that are yet unborn. And so last month we got started with Dr. Pamela Jolly, and this morning we're going to kick off the second installment in terms of talking about how do we fix our credit. So if you are watching me through this live stream, I need you to text 15 people and tell them that we have begun and that there is some valuable information that's going to help them to gain ownership over their future. So, Brother A.B. Ruff, who is the chairman of this initiative, he's going to come and introduce our presenter, and then get your pads and your pencils out, and you're going to be blessed. Shalom.
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
Listen, Pastor had, charged me when we started talking about this earlier this year that, hey, listen, this is what we want to do, have a series on building black wealth and create some modules, and it's like, hey, listen, we need the best in the business. So, like I said, Pastor said earlier that we did start off with Dr. Pamela Jolly, which was a phenomenal experience. And here again, after today, we're going to be 2 for 2 because we have Mr. Kevin Lewis here from the president of Promethean Incorporated. And he's going to get us started on fixing our credit, understanding credit, why you need credit. And as we go to the entrepreneurial part, we're going to talk about business credit, which is extremely important as well. So why don't we get started?
Absolutely. Thank you
Kevin,
so much.
Kevin, tell us a little bit about yourself.
I certainly will. Pastor Blackwell, thank you so much for having me. Avery, thank you so much for reaching out. So Avery said he went to get the best in the business, and then he had to get what was in his budget. So that's why I'm here. But I'm going to do the best I can for you, Avery. Absolutely. I heard you guys had an amazing speaker, amazing presenter, and Dr. Jolly, and so I'm here to talk to you guys. I'm in the credit space. My name is Kevin Lewis. As Avery said, I'm the owner of Promethean Inc. We have the distinction, as my good friend Celestine, she said I can call her Cel now. So we have the distinction of being the nation's only black-owned, black-operated fintech firm in the credit space. I want y'all to celebrate that. Yeah, there wasn't enough clapping for that. You're not clapping for me. You're clapping for our clientele. So we are a fintech firm, and as such, we can't discriminate. But we market to the African American community. We deal with 90% of our clientele is African American, and I don't say people of color. I say African American specifically. I say that unapologetically, Val, because there are challenges in every community, but there are unique challenges to the African American community. And so we built this company with the spirit that we were going to lead our people into financial liberty. And so we work with our entire staff, African American, like I said, the clientele that we serve, African American, and we have a distinction of being the only fintech firm. Fintech, financial tech, so we use technology to service our client base. We've built a proprietary platform, so we do personal credit, which is what I'll talk to you guys about today, but our flagship product is business credit, helping African American business owners build a business credit profile that makes it more likely for them to get access to capital through credit. So the reason I had you clap was not for me. You see, I don't put my name up there because I don't care about my name and lights. It's to clap for our community, because it is our community that helped get us to where we are. So thank you all Thank you all for allowing me to be here. Thank you guys in the online audience, the Digisphere. We would love to have you here, but you're there. So you'll get it how you get it. And we're going to have a conversation tonight. I am going to say this to you. I am going to upset you today because I'm going to talk about some historical facts about credit. I'm going to talk about how there have been some things that have happened in our community that have really been egregious to us, specifically to us. That's right. All right? So I'm going to upset you, but I'm going to tell you how to be in a better position. And if you're in a great position and you're within the sound of my voice, there may be something that you pick up that you didn't know. Pass it on to somebody who doesn't know. All right? Can we? So can I jump in here?
Yes, sir.
All right. So I'm gonna have my friend Pastor Tim back there. And before I like this is engaging. I didn't catch your name. Ann. Ann. I'm Kevin. It's nice to meet you as well. And so Ann, we're gonna talk today. We're gonna have a conversation today. So Pastor Tim, can you take me to the next slide? This is our contact information, by the way. You'll see that again later. All right, so let's talk about credit. We're in the credit space. That's all we do, Val, all day long. All we do is work in the credit space. I spend my entire days researching credit, looking at the laws around credit, looking at the laws around the consumer part and the legislation, right? It's all we do all day long. And I have the honor and privilege of being able to go to D.C. on Monday and represent the state of Pennsylvania, which is where our headquarters is, Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, representing the state of Pennsylvania to help move some legislation that is going to impact us in the credit space very deeply. So Avery, it's all we do. We know this credit space. It's all we do. There's a lot of information that we have. And one of the things that I have used at my disposal is, so there's this thing that it's called the Butler effect. Before I get into the whole conversation about credit, Tamara, there's this thing that we call the Butler effect. If you are the only black person in a room of other people, other communities, or one of two, and you're very quiet and you pay attention, people will forget that you're in the room, and then they'll speak freely. And then you hear the real information about money. So I make it my business to be in those rooms and be very quiet and be very observant, and I pick up some things. And what happens, there's this thing that I am so concerned about, and there is misinformation that is being spread in our communities, and then there's disinformation. Now, and misinformation means somebody's giving you information, but they don't know the whole story, right? I call that giving you the subject, but not the predicate, right? I've termed that giving you the subject, but not the predicate. What I mean, I sound like a pastor. I feel like I'm getting I feel like a pastor vibe right now. So there's a subject and a predicate. Because we're in the age of social media, you have 1 minute and 27 seconds to captivate your audience, right? So a lot of people are giving you half of a story. They're giving you the beginning or the headline of a story, but they're not telling you the end of that story. I come to tell you the end of the story because the end of the story is really where the impact is. So today we're going to talk about the predicate of credit, not just the subject. That's misinformation. Somebody giving you the subject, not the predicate. Pastor Blackwell, disinformation. So misinformation is harmful, right? Because you could be misled to make some decisions based on misinformation. Disinformation is specifically created to cause harm.
Okay.
That means someone knows the truth,
That's right.
but they're telling you something different so that you can't get ahead.
That's right.
I am not going to call names because I do not want to be sued, but there is a prominent financial figure that targets African American churches with a program that promotes debt-free lifestyle. Don't say his name, please, because I can't, my insurance won't cover. Right? But he specifically, this organization specifically targets African American churches, and they come in and they say they want to teach you to live a debt-free lifestyle. You cannot live a debt-free lifestyle in the United States of America. Now, you can go to Cuba, but not in the United States of America, because the United States of America has laws that prevent you from being debt-free. One of those laws says that you cannot buy a car cash if it costs more than $10,000. If you try to walk into a car dealership, buy a car, and give them cash in a duffel bag, I don't mean a check. Check is credit too. But if you try to give them cash, if it's more than $10,000, they have to report it, and it's not uncommon for them to have somebody come and visit you and ask you where you got this cash, right? Money laundering. That they have to prevent money laundering. So most of us, if we're buying cars that are more than $10,000, are going to have to finance those cars in some way, shape, form, and fashion. Now, you can go to your credit union and get a check. That's paying cash for the car, but the credit union is who gave you the credit. It's called a credit union, right? So this information says you can live a debt-free lifestyle. That's not true, so don't believe that. So since you cannot live a debt-free lifestyle in this country, let me show you how to use debt to build the lifestyle that you want. Can I do that for you guys? All right. I like the clap. That's good stuff. All right, so let's talk about credit and what credit is, and I'm gonna tell you guys a story. Again, I come to make you mad, but I come to make you mad. You hear me say this all the time, right? I come to make you mad because I know black people move when they mad, right? All movements are started out of madness, right? That's how slavery ended, right? Because we got mad enough to be tired of it, right? That's how the civil rights movement, because we were just mad. We just mad. I'm telling you guys right now, we are on our third major revolution for the African American community. We are now mad enough to get some more movement. So I'm adding to the madness right now. So let's talk about credit. There are two types of credit. There's personal credit and there's business credit. What's the difference between the two? Now, you guys, there's a cheat code. So Tamara, I'm going to call on you. There's a cheat code here. So Tamara, go ahead. Just off the cuff, right? Just.
You use FICO score for personal, for business use payday.
Okay, all right, that's good. She's right. She's right. She's got to go right. She had it in class. Okay, so personal credit is any credit that is secured using your social security number. If your social security number is what they use to determine whether you're going to get credit, it is personal credit, and it's rated using a FICO score. Business credit is any credit that is secured using your business's EIN number, employer identification number, and rated using a Paydex. Now, I am hoping that Pastor Blackwell and Avery and Ann and Celestine and Val and Tamara will have me back, and Pastor Tim in the back will have me back to talk about business credit. Today I'm going to talk about this personal credit, okay? All right, so let's talk about where personal credit began. So, FICO, what does FICO stand for? Now, Sal, you volunteered. You said, oh, no, I don't put your business out there. So let me hold the mic. So you said you got great credit, right? Amazing credit. Excellent. So, Sal, tell me what FICO stands for. That is an acronym, by the way. What does it stand for? That's awesome. Not correct, but it is awesome. I'm clapping because you had the courage to answer. All right? Does anybody know what FICO stands for? Now, this is what, Pastor Tim, you back there, don't try to sleep back there. Don't try to fall asleep back there. I can see you. So, Pastor Tim, everybody within the sound of my voice is subject to this FICO score. Remember, you're in the United States. You cannot live a debt-free lifestyle. You have to have credit of some sort. Everyone in the sound of my voice is subject to this FICO score But I'd like you guys to tell me what FICO stands for. Yeah, what does IRS stand for? Huh? So everybody know the IRS stands, right? And everybody ducking the IRS, right? Everybody knows what IRS stands for. Because, but only few of you will become subject to the IRS. Everyone's subject to this FICO. So FICO stands for Fair Isaac Company. Now, Pastor, I'm going to weave a story for you, okay? You see I unbutton my jacket? That means I'm about to get serious in here, okay? So, Pastor, I'm going to weave a story for you, right? So FICO stands for Fair Isaac Company. Fair Isaac Company. Who's fair? I'm going to tell you right now, right? So, or it should be unFICO, the Unfair Isaac Company. But, so FICO is an acronym that stands for the Fair Isaac Company. So, in 1967, the banking industry lobbied Congress to be able to come up with a mechanism that could judge the credit worthiness of their customers. So, and let's talk about how it used to be before that. So, and what would happen is if you wanted a loan from a bank, you would go into the bank, you'd fill out an application, they'd ask you to put 3 to 5 references on the application, right? And so and they'd say they want references that have lent you money. So you'd put down whoever lent you money. And what was happening is you'd put your uncle down, or you put your rich aunt, right? Right? Then the bank would call these references. Hey, Aunt Cheryl, Ann has applied for this loan. She says she borrowed $25,000 from you 5 years ago and she paid it back on time. Is that correct? Well, Aunt Cheryl's your aunt. Yeah. Of course. Yeah. Absolutely yes, right? But here's the deal. Aunt Cheryl was a bit of an unsavory character. I'm not talking about your aunt. My aunt. Mm-hmm. Not your aunt. My aunt. Aunt Cheryl, if you're listening, I love you. I told you I was going to use this. So she's an unsavory character, so she might have stretched the truth about that loan, right? And so they have given you money based on her saying that she lent you money. The problem is people are defaulting on those loans based on that information. So the banking industry wanted to cut down on the amount of defaults that they had. So they went to Congress and said, we need to come up with a mechanism that can predict someone's responsibility. And the government put out a bid for a company to come up with that mechanism. The company that won that bid is called the Fair Isaac Company, FICO, okay? The company that won that bid is called the Fair Isaac Company. And the Fair Isaac Company put together what we now know as algorithm. There's early algorithms, not like the algorithm you know now, right? They put together an early algorithm to judge the credit worthiness of banking customers. Now, follow the arc of the story, right? Banking industry goes to Congress. They say we need a mechanism. FICO wins the bid. FICO develops this mechanism called the FICO score. Now, what does, not you, because we already talked about this. So the Fair Isaac Company, by the way, is a for-profit organization. The Fair Isaac comes from the two people that created the two owners of the company. The first name, one of them is named Fair, the other one's last name is Fair, the other last name is Isaac, right? Very easy, not very creative in the name. Fair Isaac, come together, we make Fair Isaac Company. All right, they are a for-profit organization. A for-profit organization, Val, means, what does a for-profit organization mean? That means they make money, right? They are not charity. They make money, right? Pastor, this is a non-profit organization, right? The church is a non-profit organization, right? You guys are not in it for the profit. You're in it for the people, right? You're in it with the profits, but not in it for the profit. I mean, you might be for the profits, but not for profit. Yeah, all right. All right, this is one, y'all follow that? Okay, so Fair Isaac Company is a for-profit organization that won the bid to create the mechanism that judges the credit worthiness of consumers. So the Fair Isaac Company is a for-profit organization, what do they sell? Huh? Val, what'd you say? Say it into the mic.
Information.
They sell information. You're right. They sell information. Val, who do they sell information to? All right, so you said it right. You said banks, right? Now I'm gonna take you back to the arc of the story real quick. So the banking industry goes to Congress, say we need a mechanism to judge the creditworthiness of our consumers. FICO, a for-profit organization, wins the bid. They create the FICO score, and Fair Isaac Company, their main product is information, and they sell it to who? The banks. So essentially, they work for the banks. So they created the mechanism to determine your FICO score, your credit worthiness. They were created by the banks to work for the banks. All right. So let me get this straight. I create an organization that works for me to help me take advantage of the people that I'm trying to take advantage of. All right, cool. I'm gonna show you how to. By the way, personal credit is consumerism. If you are focused on your personal credit, you're focused on being a consumer. Business credit is producerism. If you're focused on business credit, then you are focusing on producing and making money for profit. Now, every financial law in this country was written so that businesses could take advantage and consumers would be taken advantage of. Remember that I said that because again, I'm jockeying. I'm trying to get back in here and do another session, right? So, see how I'm setting myself up? Businesses, every financial law, every IRS law, every credit law, every banking law was written so that if you are a business, you can take advantage, and if you are a a consumer, you will be taken advantage of. Okay? All right. So now, Fair Isaac Company, for profit, selling data to the banks. The banks use that data to determine your credit worthiness. Tamara, how do banks make money?
By you putting money in the bank,
And what do they do with it?
they put interest on it or
Okay.
stuff on it.
So you put $10,000 into the bank. The bank loans Avery $10,000, right? Now the bank is going to give you how much percent on that $10,000? You put 10. Let's make the numbers low. Let's bring it. I'm gonna bring it down. I'm gonna make it smaller. You put $100 in the bank, right? How much money is the bank going to give you back on that $100? 1%. Let's say 1%. If you can find a bank, by the way, that's giving 1%, put your money in there because it's more like 0.05%, right? But let's use 1% because that's an easy number to calculate, right? You put in 100, they're going to give you $1. They're going to lend Avery that 100. How much are they going to charge Avery in interest?
Probably more than
Let's say 30%. Same $100, not their 100, your 100. Give you $1. They're going to give Avery 100, and they're going to charge him 30%, meaning they're going to make $30. So they're going to make $29 profit off of your $100, not their $100, your $100, right? So now, the banks make money off of interest, loaning your money to Avery and charging him 30%. The lower your credit score, the higher the interest. Tim, would you do me a favor and if you could go to the next slide for me, please, if you would be so kind. Next one right there. Okay. Remember that I said that, right? Banks charge you, don't forget that. Stay right there. Banks charge you, they charge you, 1%. They give you 1%, charge them 30, okay? $1, $30, okay? That's how they make money. Stay right there, don't forget, okay? I want y'all to look at these statistics real quick, because I'm going to get back to that in a minute. Nearly 23% of Americans have credit scores less than 600. A quarter of the country. The average FICO score in the U.S. is 714. The average Vantage score is 688. FICO and Vantage do the same. Vantage was created to give FICO competition because you can't have a monopoly in this country. So they commissioned another company to come in just to present competition. It's not real. It's just vapor, okay? But the average scores for Asians is 745, for whites is 734, and for blacks is 677. Remember that, okay? Don't forget that. Just look at this next thing. More than 74% of Americans polled don't know the factors that affect their credit scores. I want y'all to keep that in mind, that point we're going to make in just a sec, all right? Look at this, 30 to 40% of employers polled use credit scores to determine employability, and that number is probably higher now. It's probably like 56%. Why do you guys think that employers use credit scores to determine employability? I didn't forget about, we're gonna get back to this banking thing. Why do you think employers use credit scores to determine employability? Oh, okay. So, Samara, would you say that they use the credit scores to determine your responsibility level? Okay. Yeah, that's what we'd like to think. Psychologists have done studies, and those studies have determined that credit scores are terrible predictors of behavior. People with high credit scores are just as likely to steal or misuse time at work as people with low credit scores. People with low credit scores are just as likely to be aware of time and take care of the company's assets as are people with high credit scores. They're a terrible predictor of behavior. That is not why employers use them. Employers use them because in this country you cannot discriminate based on race, color, creed, religion, or sexual orientation. However, you can discriminate based on credit scores. So I want y'all to look at that thing up there. It says average credit scores for Asians 745, for whites 734, but look what it is for blacks. 677, right? So it is a 60-point difference, almost a 60-point difference between blacks and whites, right? Which is why black people are not getting in executive level positions, because all things equal, they look at your credit scores. And again, you see the average credit scores for whites, right? They look at your credit scores. If you are a doctor from Harvard and there's a white person that's a doctor from Harvard, you guys got the same GPA, you got the same experience, they look at your credit scores, they don't have to give you the job because that person's credit score is higher than yours. Now, they can't not give you the job because you're black. They can't not give it to you because you're a woman. But they can not give it to you because of credit scores. And that's why employers use credit scores, to determine predictability. So now, no, Pastor, I haven't made you mad enough yet, but you will get upset. That's what I'm talking about. But I'm going to make you happy. All right, I'm going to speed this thing. Over credit scores. That's why I want you guys to get on business credit, because business credit doesn't work the same way. But don't worry, I'm going to tell you how to use the personal credit use the personal credit system to your advantage. We're going to talk about it. Pastor Tim, can you go forward for me real quick? Okay, so now, getting back, we talked about, right? Now, I'm going to take you back, right? Fair Isaac, for profit, right? Commissioned by the banking industry to make this mechanism that determines your credit scores. Banks use their sole product is interest, right? They loan out money, they make money, right? The lower your credit scores, the more interest you pay. Look at this statistic right here. If this is on a house. If you did a 30-year mortgage on a $250,000 house, Avery, I'm in your wheelhouse now, right? If you did a 30-year mortgage on a $250,000 house, if you have a 720 credit score, you would not pay any additional money. If you had a 700, 719, you're going to pay an additional $7,000 over that 30 years for that $250,000 mortgage.
You said 7,000?
7,000. That's you'll pay $7,000 more because your score is lower, right? But do y'all remember what the average scores for African Americans were? 677, right? So let's drop it down to 674 so we can just use this for impact, right? An African American is going to pay $86,000 more for that same house because of their credit scores. Because banks make money on lower credit scores. The banking industry commission FICO, who works for the banks, to develop the mechanism to determine your credit worthiness because they make money off of your credit. The lower your credit, the more money they make. So wouldn't it be in their best interest to make it so you can't get a high credit score? Okay. Tim, can you back me up one slide? Go back. One slide. Remember, see that stat that says more than 74% of Americans polled don't know the factors that affect their credit scores? All right. There are 5 factors. There are 5 factors that go into calculating your FICO score. Everybody but Avery can answer this question. What are those 5 factors? Now, everyone in this room,
Whether you pay your bills on time?
payment history, I'll take that.
What is it?
Payment history, that's called payment history. I'll take that. I'll take that, and I'll take that from you. I'll take that entry. How well you pay your bills on time. That's one of the factors. There are 5. You got 4 more to go. You got one? No. Not in calculating your FICO score. That when you're going to get a mortgage, that is going to come into play. But when you're calculating your FICO score, that's not one of the factors. Employment is not one of the factors. Payment history. So there's 5. You gave me 1.
What accounts you open? Like the categories or
Okay, I like that. That's called credit mix. That's one of them. So we got 2. We got payment history and credit mix. Don't write it down yet. Don't write this down yet. Don't write them down yet, because I want y'all to do something. All right, so we got payment history, credit mix. What else? We got 3 more. Unofficially, yes. Officially, we can't say it, Pastor. Unofficially, yes. But in the FICO score, yeah. Yep.
I just had it on top of my tongue.
You see me this? Yeah. I can have it. It's right there.
You said what did they,
The 5 factors. Everyone has these 5 factors.
how much the loan is, the determination of how long, like how much the loan is, or what credit you're opening, like how much you're getting? Is that effective, or is that?
So what you mean is how much?
Duration of what you're getting.
Ooh, so credit age.
Yeah.
Credit age, the length of time that you had to credit. Ooh, that's a good one. Payment history, credit mix, credit age. All right, give me the other 2. That's good. That's good. That's good. That's good. That's good. And you actually had 2 at the same time. We're gonna nurse the other one. Come on, y'all. Come on. By the way, I did not tell anybody they couldn't Google, so I like what you did right there.
No, I'm going into my account. Experience.
Hey, listen. I didn't say you couldn't, and I appreciate that you did. If you can get to the information. Credit utilization, love it. Thank you. That's number 4. That's 4. Not number 4, that's just 4. So we got payment history, credit mix, we had credit age, and credit utilization. Give me the last one. Man, I came here to work for you. I work for you. You didn't work for me. You didn't come to work for me. I work for you. All right, give me the last one. Now, here's the deal. Everyone in this room is subject to these 5 factors. 74% of Americans polled do not know what these factors are. All right, Pastor Tim, give me 2 slides forward, please. There we go. I didn't want you to write them down because here they are, but they are not only 5 factors, but they are weighted. Payment history has a greater impact than all of the other 4. And they are in order here, in order of impact. Your payment history is how well you pay. You guys said that, how well you pay. If you don't pay any bills late, you'll have a great payment history. And that's 35% of your score. Credit utilization is what you said. It's 30% of your score. So credit utilization is you got a credit card. It has a $1,000 limit. You've used $750 of it. That means 75% credit utilization. Okay, and I'm gonna talk to you about how to win. I'm gonna tell you how to win. I'll tell you how to. So you've already won, but I'm gonna tell you how to win. All right. Credit utilization, 30%. That is the amount of credit compared to the amount that you've used. Length of credit, how long you've had the credit, and it's an average. We're gonna come back to that. I want to put a pin in that. We're gonna come back to that. New credit, we call that new credit, but it's called inquiries. If you got inquiries, that's what new credit is, 10%. And then credit mix, the type of credit that you have, that is also 10%. In the African American community, it's that credit mix that usually trips us up a little bit. Okay. All right. Remember I told you guys about this little company called Fair Isaac? They work for the banks. They created the mechanism to determine your credit worthiness, and they sell that information back to the banks, and the banks use that to determine who they're going to lend to, and because the banks make money off of interest, the lower your score, the more interest they make, right? The more money that they make, right? And the banks always want to make money. They want to make a lot of money, right? So here's the deal. Fair Isaac says, we work for you, Bank A. Since we work for you and you want us to create this mechanism, we have to figure out a way to make it fair, but have something in it that makes it very difficult for people to raise their credit scores. And that thing is here in the middle. Length of credit history, which is 15%. They tuck it in the middle, but let me tell you how this works. So let's say you had a credit card. Let's say the only thing you had on your credit report was one credit card, and you had it for 10 years. You'd have a credit age or length of credit history of 10 years, right? Now, if you apply for and are approved for a new credit card, they're going to take the 10-year history from your first credit card, the 0-year history from your second credit card, and divide them by the number of counts, which is 2. So you went from a 10-year history to a 5-year history overnight. In order for you to have a good score in the credit history category, you need to have 7 years of credit or more. So now, overnight, it took you 10 minutes to fill out this application online. You got that new credit card. Overnight, your credit history went from 10 years to 5 years. You now have to wait 2 more years to get back to good in that category. So if you apply for new credit, you got a score of 830. You apply for new credit, and immediately your score goes down to 790, right? Which is not a big deal. If you're a 680, and your score goes down to a 620, Avery, that house you can't get that house anymore, right? Okay, Avery, you're going to pay $86,000 extra dollars. Does anybody want to say anything? Okay. Yeah, talk to me.
So what can we use our credit for?
Okay. Tavares says, get to the win. Kevin, hurry up. Speed it up. All right, let me speed it up. Let me hurry up and get these people out of this church because they didn't come to have service with me today.
I have been trying like crazy to hit that magic score.
That 850? Okay.
I got to 840.
Okay.
And then whatever happened, here it is.
Not whatever happened, Ed. That's what happened, Ed. That's what happened to you, Ed.
So this is
Let me say this to you. 751 to 850 is pure ego. You don't get any more benefit from an 840 score than you do from a 751. So up to 750, you're going to get benefit. The higher your score goes, the lower your interest rate is going to be. After 751, means nothing. It's just for bragging rights. But you should work for bragging rights. So salute yourself. But the reason why you can't get that perfect score is because Fair Isaac works for the bank. They are not going to let you get a perfect score because the perfect score means the banks lose money. And you're not going to walk in and pay 20% on a mortgage with an 830 credit score. Now, with a 600 credit score, you might. 20% is still a bit rugged. But you're not going to pay 9% interest on a mortgage, right? Maybe today you will. I don't know the interest rate. But you, because you have a great credit score, right? But someone who has a 580 would do it in a heartbeat. Because that's the only thing they can pay.
That's right. That's right.
All right. By the way, let me tell you something that's not up here. So, and I want y'all to take this. Don't concentrate on credit scores, guys. Concentrate on credit profile. Credit scores are a marketing tool. I want y'all to be clear about that. Credit scores are a marketing tool. You're frowning, and I like the frown. That means I might be saying something you haven't heard yet. So credit scores are a marketing tool. Credit profile is what the creditors use. Credit scores are a marketing tool. Now, in the companies will tell you that they're using your credit score, and that's true to some degree. But let me tell you, there are two inherent issues with credit scores. First of all, a credit score is a snapshot in time. Meaning, if I pull your credit today, your scores are going to be different, maybe different than they will be 2 weeks from now. If you pay a credit card off and that credit card reports 2 weeks from now, let's say you have a 750 today and you go use a credit card and you spend 80% of the limit. 2 weeks from now, I pull your credit, the score is going to be different. It's going to be lower. If you pay that credit card off, 2 weeks later, it's going to be higher. So it is a snapshot in time. That's one inherent issue. The more damaging inherent issue, Val, about credit scores is FICO has 10 scoring models now. That 10th model, by the way, is I'm going to Congress on Monday and Tuesday to talk about this 10th scoring model because it's going to give us a problem that black people may not ever recover from. But I ain't coming here to talk about that. The problem with credit scores is there are 10 FICO scoring models and 4 Vantage scoring models. If a creditor pulls a FICO 8 and a different creditor pulls FICO 4, scores are going to be totally different. If a creditor pulls FICO 4 and another creditor pulls Vantage 4, scores are going to be different. So the snapshot in time and the fact that those scoring models are different are going to cause you a problem. There's one other issue about credit scores. Many banks do injections. So mortgage lenders do an injection of metric into the FICO scoring model. If you've ever monitored your credit reports and you've seen your score, and then you go apply for a mortgage, you'll see many times the score is a little bit lower, sometimes ridiculously lower. That's because they take the FICO score, whatever FICO scoring model they're using, and then they inject this mortgage lending, auto loans do it, auto lenders do it, and credit cards do it. They inject their own metric into the FICO metric. So Val, here's the deal. It's a snapshot in time, and the different scoring models are going to give you different scores, and you don't know what bank is going to use which scoring model. Many times the banks don't even know which scoring model they're using, but you're going to get different scores. So I'm telling you, don't concentrate on your scores, concentrate on your profile. The profile is these 5 factors. If you concentrate on fixing these 5 factors, it won't matter when they pull your credit, so that snapshot in time won't matter, and it won't matter which model you use. You'll be good. If you're good in all 5 factors, you'll be good all the time. So, Tamara, the question is, Kevin, then when are you going to tell me how to get good in these factors? I got you, Tamara. That's not your voice. I wasn't mimicking you. Tim, can we go one slide further? This is how you win. This is how you win. I'm gonna read it to you. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. The first one says payment history. So payment history is the most impactful factor in the credit scoring models. Payment history, do not have any late or missed payments within a 24-month period. Now, I'm going to tell you what that says, and then, Avery, I'm going to tell you some scenarios that you can use in case you run into some trouble, okay? So make sure you pay your bills on time. That's the easiest thing to do. Make sure you pay your bills on time. However, if you come upon a time where you're in a financial hardship, call all of your creditors and tell them right away, listen, I'm possibly going to miss a payment this month. I'm asking you not to report that to the credit bureaus. I promise you I will get the money to you, but I'm asking you not to report it to the credit bureaus. Many creditors will give you grace. Oh, we got the choir. We got the choir this morning. All right. So, if you come up on financial hard times, how you beat payment history is, first of all, don't miss any payments. But if you think you're going to miss a payment, call the banks before you miss the payment and see if you can do something. A lot of them will tell you, skip this month's payment, we won't report it. All right? If you've missed the payment in the last 24 months and you've only missed one, call the bank and ask them to remove it from the credit reports. If you only miss one, now if you missed 2 or 3 with the same company, forget it. But if you only missed one, you went on vacation. I know y'all like to go to Negril. You're going on vacation, you forgot one of your credit cards, slipped by you. Your credit card has a fee on it, a monthly fee. You forgot to pay the monthly fee. Month gets by you. That's the only one you miss. Call the bank and say, or call the credit card company and say, hey, can you remove that one payment? I've had this credit card for 9 years. I've only missed this one payment. Can you remove it? More often than not, they do. Now, if you got 2 or 3, that's a pattern. They won't remove it. All right? No missed payments within 24 months. If you're going to miss one, call ahead of time. If you've missed one and only one, call and get it removed. All right? That's win number 1. Credit utilization. Now, y'all see something up there, but I'm going to show y'all how to make this really, really work. I'm going to show you how to make this really, really work. And I'm going to show you guys how to use credit as a debit. I'm going to show you, I'm going to teach you how to use credit as a debit. All right, so you ready for me? All right, so credit utilization. Don't use more than 25% of your credit limits. That is a Promethean benchmark. That's a Promethean benchmark. The rule of thumb out there, this is where I talk about disinformation. This is where disinformation shows up. So misinformation is pay your credit cards down. Disinformation is 30%. We say 25% just because that's a good benchmark. The number should be 3.9%. You want to get the biggest impact out of your credit? Don't use more than 3.9% of your credit. Now, I'm going to do some quick math. If you have a credit card with a $1,000 limit and you use 3.9%, that's $39. So you're saying, Kevin, you mean I got a $1,000 limit, I can only use $39? No. Your credit card has 4 things that you should know about it. You should know the interest rate on every one of your debts on your credit. You should know the interest rate. You should know the due date. You should know the fees. And, really important, you should know the reporting date. The reporting date is the date that company is going to report your balance to the credit bureaus. So let me take you back to that $1,000 limit. You got a $1,000 limit. The reporting date is the 25th of the month. Today is the 11th of the month. The reporting date is the 25th of the month. Pastor, you can use all $1,000, but by the 25th of the month, pay it down to $39. Guys, don't pay your credit cards off. Do not pay them off. If creditors see you not using your credit, they're going to prompt you to use it by either dropping your limit or closing your account. Remember I told you about that credit age? Remember I told you about that credit age, Ann? So now you got 10 years worth of credit. One of those credit cards is a 19-year-old credit card, but you haven't been using it. They close it out. Now your credit age goes down to 6 years. And you lose the points that went along with it because you didn't use your credit. You know why? Because that person, see how I bring things full circle? Remember I told you there's a person that comes in our churches and tells us to live debt-free? That person is telling us to pay our credit cards off. But if we pay our credit cards off, the companies close the accounts.
My Lord.
And then the scores go down. Disinformation is dangerous.
That's right.
Misinformation is harmful. Disinformation is dangerous. You cannot live a debt-free life. Do not let that person come in this church and tell y'all, your congregation, that they can live a debt-free life. Because I'm here to tell you, if I find them, we're going to rumble. Because, man, that's how I settle disputes. Don't let this little suit fool you. All right. Now, I said that for emphasis. I said that for emphasis. That's the disinformation. They're telling you to live debt-free. Pay off all your debts down to zero. But when you do that, they close out the accounts and you suffer. Don't do it. Pay it down, but pay it down to 3.9%. Got it? Pay it down by the reporting date. Talk to me.
So that's why when people say make the minimum amount or whatever, that's okay?
No. That's terrible. Don't do that.
Okay.
Minimum amount means you owe $750, but you're gonna pay $30 because they say you only pay. No. You owe $750. It's a $1,000 card. Pay it down to $39, and pay it by that reporting date, the 25th, which means you have to know what that reporting date is. Now, they'll tell you what the interest rate is, they'll tell you what the due date is, they'll tell you what the fees are, but they rarely tell you what the reporting date is. You have to call the company to find out what that reporting date is. I told you I was going to tell you how to win. This is how you win. 3.9%, don't pay it off. Call the company and make sure you pay it down to 3.9% before the reporting date. You got, yeah.
They force you to have credit.
$39. Go ahead.
Because, let's say I have a perfect example. I buy a computer, I get 0% interest on the card. So you pay it in the time, and you only wanted the card because it was 0% interest. So you pay it off, or you pay it down. You don't close it, but you don't use it, and they close the account. So is your advice to say, well, okay, use that card and buy something?
That's exactly what I'm saying. That's exactly what I'm saying. Go back in there and buy a flash drive. Go back there next month and get yourself, if it's Staples, I don't endorse, my apologies. If it's a major office supply store, go buy some paper. But yes, use every one of your cards every month. Now, Sal, let me tell you how to use credit as debit.
Tell me.
So, Sal, you got that card, right? It's got a $1,000 limit, right? You've got $250 in the bank cash. Go use that card, pay the $250, go home the next day, pay that $250. Don't pay it off though. Pay $240. Remember, don't pay it. You can't pay it off. Can't pay it off. Pay it down to 3.9%. Now, you had the cash. You can walk in, because you want to live debt free. You can walk in right now to that big box retailer and put $250 cash on the counter, take out whatever you want, right? Don't do that. Take your card, use $250, the next day, log into your account and pay $240. Now you've used your credit card as debit. I'm gonna give you one more thing. One more thing, y'all ready? One more thing, y'all ready? I'm gonna tell you how to win the game. Debit cards do not come with rewards points. Credit cards do. Use that $250 on the credit card, the next day pay $240. So now you've wiped out the interest, right? You haven't paid any interest because you're gonna pay it the next day. So no interest has accrued, but you've got rewards points.
Oh my gosh.
That's what Kevin Hart's doing right now. He keeps saying that 3% cash back.
Hey, he got that from me. Just play- just play.
I know he did. He told me.
Kevin Hart is lit. He got a credit card.
So using my credit card as my debit
Use it as a debit.
card all the time. This is like
The debit card was the worst financial instrument ever created since FDR took us off the gold standard.
oh my goodness.
The only thing you get out of a debit card is
I wonder
fees.
why when you check out, it says debit or credit.
Now, when I say use your credit card as debit, that's not what I'm talking about. I'm saying use your credit card
Right.
and then pay the credit card off, not your debit.
That's exactly what I'm.
Because you're not getting any rewards points. The only thing you're getting is fees. That's the only thing you get from a debit card. It is the worst financial instrument ever created.
Why can't we just go back old school and keep all your money under your mattress?
Because money, there's no such thing as money anymore.
Yeah, it's like
Well-
currency money. Money's digital now.
There's no such thing as money. When we were taking off the gold standards, there's nothing to back money up. So every day your money loses value. Cash loses value. That's why you want to use your credit cards, because you get the value back in those rewards points.
Wait, isn't that so crazy? Before, didn't they say that money would never lose value? Now money's losing value.
Because they said that based on the gold standard. But now we're not gold standard anymore. We're fiat currency. And so fiat currency, see, these are those conversations I'm real quiet. All right. All right, y'all got it? 3.9%. Use your credit card, pay it off the next day. You won't accumulate any interest. Don't pay it off, pay it down. You won't accumulate any interest. You'll get the rewards points. You're winning.
And then your credit score goes up.
Bing!
And that's how you get the 850.
I can dance now, right? I'm not even done. Praise God. All right.
So, what was the reason for them getting rid of the gold standard?
So the banks can make more money. Because, so I'm glad you asked that question. So I'm gonna talk to you about this because not a lot of people talk to you about this, right? Can I diverge for just a moment? So what happens is, when you're on the gold standard, for every paper dollar that's in the economy, there has to be a piece of gold in the reserve to back it. The problem with that is, that means the population regulates the government with their money, because the government cannot create more money than there is gold in the reserve. FDR said, if we get rid of the gold reserve and just make money what we call currency based on what we say the value is, that's what happened. So he said, the value is not, let's say the United States government only had $12 billion in gold. That means they can only put $12 billion worth of paper into the economy. That means if they try to put $13 billion into the economy, there's no gold to back that up. Then all of the banks around the world would say to the United States, you can't do this. You're trying to overdraw. You can't overdraw. So it caused society to put a restriction on the federal government. Federal government said, let's get rid of the let's get rid of the gold as the reserve, as the backing. The backing is going to be whatever the federal government says it is. So the federal government can now say, we got $20 billion in reserve. They don't have to. That's vapor. They can make up whatever number they want, and they have done so and done so and done so, which is why we're in $1 trillion worth of debt. because there's nothing to back it. So now they have to keep making more money to pay back the debts that they've incurred. So
They're making dollars and they ain't distributing them.
they're not distributing them. And
Get back to the state.
And that's why they need to charge you more interest so you can pay back more money so they can pay back these debts. Because gold regulated how much debt they could take on. Now there's nothing to regulate it. Credit age, 7 years or more. The only way to beat this is with an authorized user. So if you've got 5 years worth of credit, you need 7. Find somebody that has credit and ask them to be an author, or ask them to make you an authorized user on the credit. Now, here's some criteria. If you're writing, if you're listening online, write this down. There are criteria that I want you guys to adhere to when you're choosing somebody. All right? First things first, interview the person. I don't care if it's your cousin, your nephew, your significant other. I don't care who it is. Interview the person. Before you become an authorized user, Avery, don't become an authorized user. Don't make someone an authorized user. But if you're going to become an authorized user, meaning you're going to go to them and ask them, can you use their credit to bolster your credit? If you're going to them, first things first, you want to be on the oldest account that they have. The criteria that I'm going to give you, it needs to meet all of the criteria I'm about to say. Criteria 1, oldest account. Criteria 2, highest limit. Criteria 3, lowest utilization. Criteria 4, perfect payments. It has to meet all 4 of those criteria, not 1 and 2, not 3 and 2, all 4. I'm going to say them again. Oldest account, highest balance, lowest usage, perfect payments. Interview them. Make them show you their credit report. Before you jump on as an authorized user, make them show you their credit report. Because if you jump on there and they miss a payment, it's going to impact your credit. Their score goes down, yours is going to go down with it. So you want to make sure they're always paying their bills, they keep a low balance. If their balance goes up, your score goes down, just like theirs does. You assume the exact same issues that they have. So it's got to be oldest, highest limit, lowest balance, perfect payments. It has to meet all 4 of those criteria before you jump on as an authorized user. That's if you are approaching somebody to get on their credit as an authorized user. If someone approaches you, say yes. Do not give them the card nor the account number. These are for you guys who have children. I have 2 beautiful daughters. They have good credit because their dad made them authorized users. They have no idea. Dad, I don't know how my credit keeps climbing. I don't know either. Dad, somebody must have mailed me a Visa card and I don't know where the I don't know, babe. You know they send you stuff all the time, baby.
Now, do you need to use that card now?
Just like it's your regular cards. No different.
So even though they have a card,
Not them.
credit card, but you have it in your possession, so you need to use that card that has. No?
Nope, you don't even get a card. You just call the company and put them on as an authorized user. When the company says, do you want me to send you another card? Nope, don't need it. Don't need it. Because you don't want them to find it and be like, ooh.
But yes, I see. But, so it'll automatically, because they're an authorized user, it will automatically show a history in their name because their name is on my credit.
That's correct. And everything that you do with your credit, with that credit card, is going to affect them. You do well, they'll do well. You do poorly, well, it is.
I have like 3 questions.
Give them to them.
So is the authorized user like a cosigner, or is that something different?
Co-signer's different.
Okay.
Co-signer is taking part responsibility. It's a partner. They're taking part responsibility in that loan.
Okay.
Authorized user is you usually only do authorized users on credit cards. You can do it on car loans too, but it's usually only on credit card.
Okay.
You're simply saying, I want this person to be able to take advantage of my credit profile.
Okay. And then my other question. So say if I have a child or something, how young or whatever, like when can you start accumulating credit?
Great question.
Yeah. And then can
16.
Can I use what? You said
16. 16.
16.
You want to wait? You don't want to wait?
But but say if they're like 1 year old and I have like their social, can I make them an authorized user or no? They have to be 16. Like,
You
can start accumulating?
you can, but if somebody starts doing research, they're going to see birth date, because Social Security number is attached to the birth date. And they do, if FICO does research, which they do because they sell data, and see that you put your 1-year-old child on, they know that you're trying to bolster their credit report. And so, but 16, no issue. 16 above.
So I can add my grands
Absolutely.
at their age 16.
You not only can, you should. You should. Don't co-sign. That was the mistake my mother made. She didn't know. She didn't know. She didn't know. My mother co-signed for me a card when I went to college, my freshman year, right? Avery, she gave me this card, had a $500 limit. I'll never forget this as long as I live, right? I graduated from high school in '88. I went down to Virginia State University from New York. She dropped me off on a Sunday. On Monday morning, I went to the mall, bought 2 pairs of sneakers. I'll never forget this as long as I live. $312 was the balance for those $500 credit card, $312. 4 years later, 5 years, because it took me a little bit. 5 years later, when I graduated from Virginia State University, that bill had ballooned to $3,000. I was on the hook for it, and my mother had gotten her credit chipped up. So we had to have $3,000 to fix $300 worth of sneakers. Now, I have.
Is that like interest and everything?
That's with interest. They kept raising the balance and interest. Yep. Yeah. All right. You guys got it? Credit age, authorized users. I'm telling you how to win. I'm telling you how to win. All right. Inquiries. New credit, we call it inquiries. You guys would know what inquiries. There are 2 types of inquiries. What are they? Hard and soft. What does hard mean?
It stays on there for 5 years.
2. Hard inquiry means they're going to use your entire credit profile to determine your credit worthiness. The soft inquiry means they're going to use just some cursory knowledge of you to determine your credit worthiness. They're going to use. So I want you to ask me that question later. Don't forget it. I'm not going to forget that you asked me. Don't forget it. The reason I don't want to tell you is because I'm going to tell you something later on in life, and that's when it's going to come back up. But soft inquiry they don't use the entire credit profile to determine your credit worthiness. How you beat this is don't have more than 3 hard inquiries per credit bureau in a 24-month period. Now, how you get around that is when you go to apply for credit, ask the creditor if they can do a soft inquiry. Some of them will, some of them won't, but ask them if they will. If you don't ask, I don't know if there's a scripture that says something about asking, but I'm just going to say it plainly. You have not because you ask not. If you don't ask, you won't know. So ask them, can you do a soft inquiry? If you're going to apply for a car loan, you guys, auto lenders are notorious. You go in, you fill out one application, and a week later you got 9 different inquiries on your credit report. When you go to an auto lender, take your most current 3-bureau credit report and tell them and ask them, please only run this through a bank that is most likely to approve this credit profile? And by the way, can you do a soft inquiry before that? Again, they may say yes, they may say no, but if you have your credit report, then that can prevent them from going to certain banks. Certain banks, you'll have a credit score of let's say you have a credit score of 650. Certain banks will only lend to you if you have a 720 or higher, right? So they know not to run you through that bank. That can narrow it down to which banks they take you to, and you can reduce the amount of inquiries. Okay? Now, I'm gonna tell you guys something why I told you to concentrate on profile and not credit score. So, auto loan example. You go to the auto lender or you go to the auto dealer, you apply for a loan, they run you through 9 different banks. 9 inquiries show up on your credit report, but it's only gonna drop your score by 3 to 5 points because any inquiries in the same industry within a 2-week period look like one inquiry as far as points are concerned. Hear me clearly, Val, as far as points are concerned. So you got 9 inquiries that show up on your credit report, but your score only drops by 5 points because all 9 of them look like one inquiry. However, 6 months from now, you go for another loan, those 9 inquiries are going to show up. You only lost 5 points. So you went in with a 750, you now have a 745. But you go in to apply for a credit card. They say no because you have too many inquiries. Because those 9 inquiries, too many hits to your credit report. Again, it didn't cost you any points, but it costs you in reputation. So, you do not want to get more than 3 inquiries per bureau. How you get around that is ask them to do a soft inquiry and only go to the bank that is going to approve, is most likely to approve you. Okay? You can get pre-approved, and that's a soft inquiry. That is saying, we believe that you're creditworthy enough to get this loan.
Is the soft inquiry just kind of a precursor to them doing the hard inquiry?
Sometimes they can give you the credit without doing a hard inquiry based on that soft inquiry. That's what I'm saying. Some auto lender, any bank has the ability to do hard or soft. They can make that decision. Now, most banks have a policy that says they have to do a hard inquiry, but people can override policies all the time because policies are made by people. So if you go to them and say, I'm going to buy a house in 6 months, I don't want a hard inquiry on my credit report, but I need this car, can you do a soft inquiry? And if you ask enough people or people high enough, they may say yes.
And that's also too for mortgage. You can shop a mortgage in that 2-week period more or less, and it's only going to drop a little bit. So that's another thing we always tell folks too, that to get the best rate and the best terms, you can shop for a mortgage also. It doesn't have to be just, I go this because he did that.
That's good stuff. That's good stuff. All right, stay with me. Y'all with me? Don't leave me yet. Don't leave me. I'm almost done. I'm going to wrap it up. All right, you got it? Credit mix. Now, this is where the black community gets messed up because we don't know this. So there are 3 categories of credit. Pastor, there is installment credit, which means you pay the same amount every month no matter what the interest rate. That's a mortgage, a car loan, a personal loan, student loans. That's called installment credit. Revolving credit, you pay a different amount depending on interest rate and usage. That's a credit card. Open accounts, this is the one that's a little bit tricky. You guys would know them as no preset limit cards. But it simply means, it's sort of a hybrid. It simply means you pay a different amount depending on the interest rate and what you use, but you have to pay back the entire amount at a specified period of time. Again, I don't get paid to endorse, but I'll go out on a limb here and give you I'll give you a name. So an Amex no preset limit card or a Discover no preset limit card. Those are basically the best 2. Don't try to get anything else. Those 2. Those are open accounts. And it's a 2-3-2 relationship. This is where we get messed up. You want to have 2 installment accounts, 3 revolving accounts, 2 open accounts. Now, Pastor, remember I said that person comes into your churches and says live debt-free? So they're telling you to pay your mortgage off, right? But see that credit mix right there? It says you should always have 2 installment accounts, 3 revolving accounts, 2 open accounts. But this person is saying living debt-free, right? Remember I said disinformation is dangerous? Remember I said it's debt-free? That person is saying pay off all your installment accounts so you don't have them show up on your credit report. But what happens if you don't have them show up on your credit report? See where you're going to get hit? You're going to get, your credit score is going to go down because your credit mix goes down. Let's say you pay your mortgage on your car off, right? Because they say pay off all your debts, right? You paid off, your revolving be fine, your opening be fine. But you pay your mortgage off, you pay your car loan off. And that's what you want to do. But you pay it off, right? So now they're going to take off those 2 accounts. So you're not going to have any installment accounts. Your score is going to go down. And they closed 2 accounts, which means your credit age is going to go down. But that person came in your church and told you to live debt-free. I'm going to find him. I'm on his heels. I know who he is. I'm on his heels. Because Pookie ain't doing much. He ain't got nothing to lose. You're right. Thank you, Pastor. I don't want to get involved because I got something to lose. I got 2 daughters. Remember I told you I put them on my credit? I got 2 daughters. That is the disinformation that I'm talking about. They come in and tell you to live debt-free, but you can't live debt-free because it's going to cost you twice in your credit report. Your score is going to drop 60 to 70 points because you don't have the credit mix and your credit age went down. All right, cool.
So it's really about credit maintenance.
Absolutely.
Your credit profile.
Absolutely.
It's about maintenance.
Absolutely. This is the credit profile that you want to have. You got to know it. And this is I probably should have told y'all this, and I probably should have told y'all this before I started. You don't have to write none of that down. You don't even have to read it. I'm going to send it to you.
Thank you.
They didn't know it. I don't tell them that ahead of time, because yeah, right. Because then you ain't going to do it. But I'm going to send this to all of y'all. All I'm asking for an email, and I'm not going to email you. I'm not going to spam you. I'm just going to send this to you. All right. So make sure you have a 232 relationship. In collections, don't have any collections accounts. The easiest thing to do is either pay them in full or settle them. You can settle them for less. You call them, tell them, I want to settle for less, pay it off. As long as you have 0 balances, fine. Same thing with charge-off. What is a charge-off?
Isn't that when you give them like the less of the amount of what you owe?
That's a settlement. So collections means you owed somebody some money. They didn't think they were going to get it. They sold it to a collections agency, and the collections agency is going to try to get all or some of the money. A charge-off means you didn't pay the bill. They don't think they're going to get the money, but they don't send it to collections. Why don't they send it to collections?
Because they probably got to pay collections to hold that account or keep
No. Remember I told you every law in this country was written for businesses to take advantage and consumers to be taken advantage of? So a charge-off says, the IRS says a creditor can write off 75%, up to 75% of charge-offs. So let's say you have a credit card, you owe $1,000 on it. They can write down on their taxes 75% of that debt, meaning they really only have to recoup $250. And because they get paid off with interest, someone else's interest paid that $250, so they don't even have to come after it. So they got a tax break, and the interest from someone else's account paid the $250 that they really need to recoup. So they lose nothing.
That's what those companies that, I call so-and-so, I owe so-and-so $50,000 and I only had to pay $2,000.
Exactly. That's what those companies do. Me too. That's what we do. Same thing. Why them? Why not me?
Trump. Go ahead. Keep working it.
That is a credit profile. You do those things that I told you to do that are there. I don't care when they pull your credit. I don't care which model they use. You're going to be good. That's how you win. Now, Pastor, here's the deal. This is Avery's favorite part of my presentations. How many people, show of hands, believe knowledge is power? So I baited you guys into that question, and I apologize. Knowledge is not power. That's a misnomer. The application of knowledge is power. Tamara, if you know how to change a flat tire but don't change the flat tire, that knowledge is useless, right? Okay. So the application of knowledge is power. I want you guys to use that. And I say that because you have the knowledge now. And if you don't start using your credit cards as debit cards, this will be for nothing. I came here, I'm sweating underneath this jacket. I sweated for nothing. So if you don't get 2 installment accounts, keep 2 installment accounts, 3 revolving, what have I done here? No. Nothing, all right? Here's the deal, though. Knowledge is also money. The possession of knowledge can make you money or cost you money.
That's right.
That's real. Pastor, that's real. You see that? You see that? That's a 50. You see that? Don't touch my money, Pastor. I need you for my money, man. And you can all have a piece of that. I'm going to give one person who's not Avery. Val, I don't know if I should exclude you as well. But I'm not going to. I'm going to let you. I'm not going to exclude you. Because I came to give this money away. I keep these because I come to give them away. I come to empower the black community, and I also come to invest. I'm going to give one person in this room. For those of you guys who are watching online, I don't know where I'm supposed to be looking, Pastor Tim, but I'm going to look right over here. Wherever y'all are in the digisphere, I know y'all see me. Had you showed up today, this is a $50 bill. It's real. I'm not counterfeiting these. It's $50. Had you showed up here today in person, you might have access to this $50. But you sitting at home, that's fine with me. Still get the knowledge. I'm going to give one person in this room that $50 if you can accurately tell me the names of the credit bureaus on the personal side. The names of the credit bureaus on the personal side. Yep. TransUnion. Experian.
What's that last one? Come on, bro. Bring it out.
That's a good question. I love black people. Black people are the greatest people ever created on the planet. And I'm gonna say that loud and proud. Black people say, I don't care if I get it wrong. I need to get a little something. Give me a little something of that money. I said, if you can accurately tell me the names of the credit bureau, one person, I'm gonna give one person this because I only got one $50 bill. If you can accurately tell me the name of the credit bureaus. Equifax? Okay, you feel like you should have this $50? For real. You do? Yes. I feel like you should too. But I can't give it to you.
Because I didn't get all 3.
Not because you didn't get all 3. Pastor Tim, would you be so kind as to fast forward, give me one slide? Now, I said you asked me a question, right?
You only asked for 3.
You asked me, no, I said, no. I said, if you can accurately tell me the names of the credit bureaus, I specifically didn't put a number in there because I knew you wouldn't know. And remember when I said to you to ask me this question again? Remember I told you, you can have that. Remember I said, to ask me the question again about hard inquiries? Remember I said that? So, most of you guys are aware of the three major credit bureaus: Equifax, Experian, and TransUnion. But there are 5 secondary bureaus: LexisNexis, SageStream, ARS, CoreLogic, and Innovis. See? Val, did you see me do that without looking?
That's because you do it.
I do this all day, every day. I do this every day, all day. Those secondary bureaus, when we say a soft pull, they are using the secondary bureaus to determine your credit worthiness, not the primary. When they use the primary, Equifax, Experian, and TransUnion, that's when you get a hard pull. Remember I said ask that question again? I ain't forget. Right back to it. That's what a soft pull is. A soft pull is they're pulling from one or several of those secondary bureaus. By the way, LexisNexis is the oldest data provider in the nation. 1899 is when LexisNexis was created. Not at all. Not at all. Not at all. So LexisNexis is the biggest data purveyor in the world. Anytime when you are born or into this country, LexisNexis is going to have a record of it. When you get a car, loan, mortgage, insurance, LexisNexis is going to know about it. When you move from college to your first apartment, LexisNexis is going to know about it. You know that you guys have been solicited by people and you're like, how did they get my email? How did they get my phone number? How did they get my LexisNexis? They keep all that data and they sell it to marketing companies. They sell it to banks. No, they don't have a monopoly because all of those companies do it. LexisNexis is just the biggest. They're just the biggest. But all of those companies do it.
So we never see those reports, those numbers.
If you pull a full credit report and look at the last page, you will see all of the soft inquiries that have ever been done with those companies. You're not going to pay attention to it. Until now. Until now. Ladies and gentlemen, I humbly honored to be able to have this conversation with you guys. Knowledge is not power, and that's the problem with African Americans. I'm putting a charge to you guys. Knowledge is not power. You guys know the Bible. But if you don't put the Bible into action, faith without works. I didn't come here to preach. This is your pulpit. I didn't come to preach. Faith without works is dead. But we are building a society that is trying to live off of faith. Doesn't work. Work. Go to work. This is work. To get your credit profile right is work. To put your children and grandchildren on your credit cards as authorized users is work. To find out the reporting dates for all of your creditors is work. But do the work, and I promise you, we'll be a better society for it. Together, work together. If you guys are sitting next to somebody and that person, you know that person has a credit profile that's not so great, and you've got a great relationship, you sit next to them every Sunday, you've got a great relationship, offer to put them on as an authorized user. Don't give them a card. They don't have a card. They don't have access to the account. Don't give them the account number. There's nothing they can do with that but benefit from your credit. It costs you nothing. That costs you nothing. You sit next to this person every day. It costs you absolutely nothing. But you can help that person get into a house, That person can't get into a house because they don't have the profile. They don't have the credit mix. They can't get the credit mix.
So a spouse can be an authorized.
Anyone can be an authorized user, but absolutely a spouse can be an authorized user. A child can be an authorized user. A friend, an aunt, an uncle, anyone can be an authorized user. You don't give them the card or the account number. That's simple. That's why they're winning.
They do it to cousin Sally, Sam, Joseph. Put them on. And we gonna run this business up.
No,
That's how they do it.
no.
They all sit at Thanksgiving dinner. Everyone at that table are probably authorized user on one account. Your social security number so I can put you on. Right.
But I think the key that if we do that, the key is not to tell them. I think you, if you take a relative and you want to help your child, you
That's
say,
what his daughter has done.
They have no idea.
they don't need to know. You don't
They have no idea.
Well, how do you get the social security number?
Ask them.
Because you need that.
Ask them.
And they can be like, well, why you wouldn't know my social security number?
You know how many people give me their social security number every day? They don't know me. I got clients, and I got a client in Detroit. Is never going to see me in their life. Gave me the social security number. If they gave me the social security, you don't think somebody you sit next to will give you it?
Well, you know, our people are leery. They don't trust people. They don't got the knowledge.
So you don't have to be covert. I get it. I understand that it would be difficult for me to sit next to somebody, ask them for their social security number, not tell them why I'm asking it for them, and then put them as an authorized user. Absolutely, you're gonna have to have a conversation. But you guys got friends in here. You guys have, and you're sitting next to your friend. Church is a spiritual hospital. If I'm speaking out of turn, Pastor, correct me, right? It's a spiritual hospital. There are people that sit in here every time they come to service, they're sick. Part of that sickness is their economic standing. You guys have these conversations. When you're having this conversation, listen. Tamara, they do it all the time, right? Val, they do it all the time. I'm going to put a little something in your hand. Stop putting cash in their hand. Cash means nothing. Put credit in their hand. Hey, listen, I don't have the $10,000 that it's going to take to get you out of your credit card debt, but you know what I can do? I can give you $10,000 worth of credit right now that'll lower your utilization. Because think about this, right? They've got $10,000 worth of limits, and they have $10,000 worth of balance, right? So their credit utilization is what? 100%, right? You put $10,000 worth of credit on their credit report, has a zero balance. They are now from 100 to 50%. That's why I'm yelling. You just gifted them a lower utilization and increased their score. Come on, talk to me.
Heavens forbid that something would happen and your credit went down.
Sure.
Can you remove them as authorized?
Absolutely.
Prior?
Absolutely. Absolutely. It's as easy as you put them on. Great question.
The other question is, you remember now. The other question is, if you should pass away and they're an authorized on your credit, are they obligated to pay?
No.
Because that's a false statement that you get from people. Don't do that because, don't get on their credit because if they die, you're going to be obligated to pay whatever that balance is or whatever. But I never believed it, but.
Subject, predicate.
Right.
People will give you the subject, that's misinformation.
Yeah.
I came to give you the predicate. That's correct information. Answers, when a person dies, so they are the primary user. They're not an authorized user. Authorized users are not responsible for the debts of the primary. You are the primary user. When you go, debt goes.
Okay. Yes. Because that happens.
It,
And as a spouse, sometimes your spouse may have stuff going on and someone said, no, you're not responsible for their debt, even though you're married to them or whatever,
unless you're a cosigner.
unless you're a co-signer.
Unless you're a cosigner. I'm telling you, don't cosign.
Right.
There you go.
Don't cosign. Authorized user. Don't co-sign. Don't ever co-sign for anybody. I don't care who they are. Never co-sign. I will never co-sign. My daughter asked me the other day, Dad, you going to No. No, I love you. I love you more than everybody. You will never get me to be a co-signer. I learned from my mother, though. We made that mistake together. I felt bad for her. I paid the $3,000 that she owed. But don't co-sign. Authorized user, that's different. You're not asking them to co-sign. You're asking them to authorize user. Simple and easy. It'll take you 5 minutes. And so, Avery, this, the wonderful thing about this is, you guys see people who are struggling, and you're trying to come up with cash, and you're saying cash is limited. Cash is not limited. That's how you gift people. That's how you gift people. You give that to everybody. Give it to everybody. Give it. Nope. 1,000 people. There are other businesses that are like mine that actually sell those to people. That lacks integrity. It's not illegal, but it lacks integrity, and I won't do it. But yeah, you can put 1,000 people on. I didn't say that. But you could with that $50 you just. I will certainly give you my business card. I think I got some in the bag. So use your credit cards as debit cards. Guys, please. Yo.
She was a sister, and she told me that. And they've been trying to give me this card, and I was like, yo, I'm retired. I don't need no card. I've been there, done that, right? So look, every time people be stealing my debit card numbers, so I always have to go back to her to get a new card, right? So she'd be like, now, I know you said no, but you need to get this card. You get 2% rewards, right? So I said, okay. So one day I said, okay, all right, sign me up. Well, that was the best thing that she could have done. I've made over $300 on rewards
Hold on, y'all.
because I use it as a debit card.
Hold on, y'all.
So when I go to the supermarket, the gas station, the restaurant, I just pull out that card before it's due. I pay it. Now I'm going to pay it down, not off. And I get my 2%.
And let me tell you what you're going to do with that 2%. You want to help your community?
What?
I got rewards points that gives me merchandise.
Yes. This
Right?
does, yes.
Christmas is coming up. I'm going to let Amex buy my friend a Christmas gift. By the way, while you're on that, the one other thing about why I want you to use a credit card instead of a debit card is somebody gets your debit card number. They will freeze your account, and it could take up to 21 days before you get access to it again. And if they can't find reasonable evidence that somebody committed foul play, you may never get that money back. Credit cards, most credit cards, if not all of them, have credit protection on them. You are responsible for $50. They'll put all of the balance back onto the card until the investigation is over. If they find that you're not liable, they'll even give you back that $50. Security. So you're getting rewards points and security from credit. Why are you still using a debit card? Why are you still using debit? And you could use that debit card to give somebody. So now, that credit card. So now, you put somebody on as an authorized user on that credit card. You gave them the gift of your balance and your credit history. And then you gave Avery a new sweater. And Amex paid for it. So, man,
Are you saying eliminate the debit card, or can you find a balance? Like if you have your bill set up to your bank account for automatic payment.
put your bills on the credit card.
That's right, my bills.
Buy your groceries on the credit card.
He told you to eliminate that debit card.
Pay your rent on your credit card.
I tried that. They didn't let me do that.
Who didn't? Who didn't? Tell them to call me. What you mean they didn't let you do it? Did they let you pay with a debit card?
They let me pay it with my checking account,
Oh, they use ACH transfer.
maybe.
Yeah, so you had to give them the routing number and the account number.
Say it again.
You had to give them the routing number and the account number for your checking account.
Yes.
Okay, there's some
Require that.
some banks won't let you do credit card payments, but most do.
Well, I tried it. And they told
But-
me. They told me.
Do they have account umbrella numbers or no?
No.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right, so another question based on that concept. If you have a credit card that says, I'll say Chase.
Yep.
And they offer you a checking account. If you take away your debit card, and then, let's say your debit card is attached to your checking account,
Yep.
make the same arrangement but do it with the credit card company. Is it the same principle?
When you
For example,
no.
okay.
No, you can't attach your checking account to a credit card. You can only pay the credit card with that checking account.
But what I'm saying is some credit cards allow you to open, like Chase allows you to create a checking account. So isn't that the same kind of relationship?
No, because you have a checking account and a credit card. Those are totally separate. Use the Chase credit card and then use the money in that Chase checking account to pay the credit card bill. Absolutely.
All right, so it's a good thing, is it a good thing for me to pay Experian each month to watch for fraud and crime?
Oh my God. Oh my God.
Okay.
These companies.
Lord help.
They are marketing companies.
Yeah,
That's what Experian is. It's a marketing company. They send you an alert every time something happens, does it? Don't they? You know why?
my phone number was here, my
You know why?
email address was on the dark web.
Because.
They also tell, all right, you go ahead.
No, say it.
They also offer me credit based on my, okay,
Keep saying it though. I want you to keep talking.
I don't.
I came to make you mad. Keep talking. No, you need to say it because there are other people in here that have the same issue.
So Experian
Mm-hmm.
is kind of like the banks. They're kind of watching what you do and offering you stuff based on the information that they have about you.
Yeah. And they're telling you that you are likely to be approved based on your credit profile for this, this, and this because they're a marketing company. So the reason you keep getting those alerts,
Why they keep sending me all of these different options? You're pre-approved for this, you're pre-approved for that.
you are no more likely to be approved for that actual card or loan than you would if you didn't pay for Experian. Because Experian gets paid from those advertisers. So Chase Blue Ink is giving Experian money. And that's why you get an alert every 2 days from Experian, don't you?
Yeah.
Because they want you to come back on the platform hoping that you're going to apply for Chase Blue Ink. Stop paying them people that money.
All right, guys, we got to wrap it up. That was fantastic.
Oh my God.
That was
Thank you.
fantastic.
Thank you.
You guys too kind.
Love it. My purpose for having them is to, keep me from being spammed and frauded and that kind of thing. Where do I go for that?
You can use the free version of Experian has a free version, and they offered it to you. But you chose to pay because they said this gives you a greater level of protection.
Yeah, it's like
That's not true.
$20
That's not true. Yeah.
I didn't do it either.
Just use the free version. It'll be fine.
There's
Okay.
a free version.
Okay, we gotta go. We gotta go. But listen, once again, like I said, we're 2 for 2. 2 for 2. This was excellent. Excellent information.
Thank you, thank you. Celebrate yourselves. Don't celebrate. Thank you very much. It is
No.
it's a
And once again,
pleasure.
we're doing this every second Saturday of the month through the spring of the year. So, hey, we're going to continue to have great speakers and great information, and hopefully Mr. Lewis will come back to see us again when we talk in terms of the entrepreneurial part, franchising, opening a business, and then we're looking at business credit, how that's going to help us out. So this was just great. All right.
Do you offer classes?
I do.
Oh, yeah. Okay, I guess Pastor Tim, I guess we're done. Thank you.
All right,
Lights off. All right, guys.
guys. Pastor, thank you so much.
Great.
Thank you. Appreciate you. I really appreciate you. And we will talk.
Yes. Fantastic.
Thank you, man.
Oh my goodness, man. Wonderful.
Thank you.
Wonderful. Wonderful.
I gotta tell you, one of the things, my biggest issue on my report is Jack Camp because I made the one mistake. I co-signed. And I know it is short of trying to get that person to pay the thing and get it current. I'm just jammed up. That's what's messing up my report.
You paid off.
Oh, I'm not paying it all because they benefit from that. You know what I'm saying? But I mean, I'm looking like, at my credit report and everything. I'm thinking
20 seconds.
everything is kind of